Hello, I'm Ed. I'm a director at Faith in Kids.
I'm Amy. I'm a resource writer at Faith in Kids. Welcome to the training video for week 3 of our Who Am I series, I Am Hurting.
Read through the downloadable resource already? That's the plan. Well done. Have it handy. We are not going to work through the whole session for you. We are going to help you keep on track and watch out for some difficulties and dangers in this session. You're teaching it. We're just here to give you a helping hand.
Let me tell you a story so you can see where we're going. Matt is 6. There have been some big changes in his life. His dad doesn't live at home with him and his family anymore. His mum says it's because Dad has broken her heart and broken his promise. Dad still comes round and takes him out to football and the park, but it's not the same. Matt just wants things to be like they were. He feels cross and sad. They still go to church, but not as often. And Matt wonders if God is even interested in what's happening at home, and can he even help?
Imagine Matt is in your session this week. We want him to leave knowing God is interested in his life, in his feelings, and will help. The Bible doesn't pretend everything's okay. God knows how hard it can be.
Our prayer is that this lesson helps hurting families so that they can begin to talk about what's hard and see that Christian faith has something to say when it hurts.
In this session, we're in John 11. Lazarus has died, and then Jesus arrived to find Lazarus' sisters, Mary and Martha, hurting. Jesus is not surprised by suffering and is deeply moved by it. He listens to Mary's questions and he shares Mary's tears.
This series is about identity. Today we learn that we are broken people living in a broken world. Things go wrong. Life can be hard. Suffering and brokenness is part of who we are.
That's why the truth that changes me in this session is life in a broken world hurts. Jesus knows how we feel because he lived it here too.
Everyone wants to protect their children from heartache, to wrap them in cotton wool and make them feel like every day is their birthday. But that would not be loving. God has given us a wider range of feelings to experience and to learn from. So often, faith grows most when we turn to God in the hurt.
So that's why Faith in Kids in this session looks like children who are not surprised by suffering, they choose to go to Jesus with their hurt.
We're now going to go through some details, so if you haven't already read the lesson, what are you doing here? Go and read it. Press pause, come back, we'll still be here.
Have you pressed pause yet?
OK, you're back. Welcome to the section that we like to call
Points, Problems and Distractions. Children and families can feel like Jesus only belongs in church, not in the struggles of the rest of the week. In this lesson, we talk about going to Jesus with our hurts and questions.
We've learned that children need to know what going to Jesus could look like. Help them wonder, is it in prayer, in conversations, with questions, in tears, reading the Bible, listening to a song? There are a million ways to connect with God in the moments we are hurting. There's no struggle that's off limits, no question we shouldn't ask. He is our loving Heavenly Father who understands us and longs for us to come to him.
With the over 8s, we talk about the biggest emotions in this lesson. They will need help to get beyond just happy and sad. We're talking about worry, anger, tears. We suggest you mention those for the first time in teaching time so it feels natural to go deeper in heart and hands.
Speaking of which, I think we're ready to talk about heart and hands and how to
Make the most. This is the moment for the children to do the talking, not you. Get them talking about positive and negative feelings. Help them to make the connection. Jesus understands our feelings because he cried. He was heartbroken. He understands our hurt.
With older children, we've given you case studies to help you talk through difficult situations and feelings. Children get to talk about their struggles without bearing their all with the group. You know your group best and hard situations they are facing. You might find that some children find it easier to write or draw what they are finding hard rather than talk about it.
There's an option to talk about helpful and unhelpful ways to respond to hurt. This is the chance to talk about anxiety, depression, and destructive responses like self-harm.
The data says that our children and young people are struggling with their mental health. 50% of mental health problems are established by age 14. That's why we're talking about this now.
Conversations about mental health are becoming much more common in their schools and in our culture. They need to be part of church life too. These struggles may not be in your group yet. Your children might be you think they're very young. But it's helpful to mention harder issues so the children know they can talk about them in church when they're ready.
Finally, we're going to talk about the take-home sheet because we'd love you to connect with parents.
We want parents to know the whole story about our conversations with their children in our groups. Some of your group might open up during this lesson. It won't feel like a super profound moment, but be ready to talk to parents afterwards about what you've heard. It won't be news to them, but it might help them start talking.
So when I tell Siobhan about my own life's drama and chaos, then she's off too. And suddenly we're both crying and hugging each other and we know what to pray for each other.
Whatever our style, let's be honest about our own struggles. As we discuss the biggest issues, it would be wise to be prepared for a child to disclose something that might need to involve the safeguarding lead in our church. Perhaps this is a moment just to remind yourself of your church's policy on what would need to be passed on to who.
Don't panic. You know your kids and you're helping them see that church is a place where we can be open about what's tough, that we are loved and understood, and that faith changes everything.
You've totally got this.